Look at that, on a Monday, recording first period. What kind of craziness are we bringing? Hey, this is Monday, November 13th. We're recording first period because why not? You're going to finish your book report in 2 weeks. By the end of next weekend, you should have it done because the whole starting a new book right after that. Canned food drive. If you bring in cans, let me know because we get house points for them. And we have poetry homework to do tomorrow. Those of you at home, you can get the handout from my website where you go for this part. You're going to download the poetry handout about idioms, called Idiom Notes. We're going to be writing on it. And then for those of you who are playing the home game, right next to Idiom Notes, 2 over to the right is another button that says like the idiom homework, and that's what you can download from there to try and help you out. What we're going to get into today are things called idioms. Idioms are different from idiots, which has a one-letter difference, but it's a very important letter. You use idioms all the time, whether you realize you use an idiom or not. And this is where on your notes we're going to fill this part in here together. So this is where you're going to do all the scribbling or the typing. Do you have to? Absolutely not. Will it help you if you do? Absolutely, because in a moment you're going to be doing a whole bunch of practice with these things. You're going to have homework over it. We're going to have a quiz coming up over it. And you are welcome to use it if it's written down. If it's not written down, well, it's going to make your life a little bit tougher. An idiom is a phrase that you use that has 2 meanings to it, a figurative and a literal one. As in, if you keep talking, you're driving me up a wall. That has 2 meanings to it. If you've never heard English before and you hear someone say that your talking is driving me up a wall, it's going to sound like the more your mouth moves, I get into a little vehicle and go honk honk and drive up the side. That would be the literal meaning. But the figurative meaning, what does it mean? If you say your talking is driving me up a wall. Owen?
You're getting really angry.
There you go. That I'm getting really angry. Does it mean that you're going nuts? It does mean I'm going nuts. But by the way, going nuts is another idiom. Because if you don't know English very well, you say, your behavior is driving me nuts. You're like, ooh, you're going to start throwing acorns at people? And I'm like, no. And so then you have to try to redefine it. So it's going to become a term. It's a phrase with 2 definitions, figurative and literal. So an idiom is a phrase with 2 definitions, figurative and literal. And then we're going to write down in the yellow boxes, one's going to say figurative, one's going to say literal. I don't know what figurative and literal mean. I know you don't. That's why I'm going to help you out. So we're going to go through and define figurative and literal. Okay. There's too much mathing coming in. Sounds like Baker. Alright. The figurative definition is going to be the common definition, what we know it to mean. So the figurative is the easy, basic definition. Anytime we say something like, hey, I'm going to ace this test, you know that the figurative meaning is, I'm going to do really well on this. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. The figurative meaning is, I'm really hungry and want to put food in my belly. We have a play coming up on Friday. I got to write that over there. And so you would say, hey, I hope you break a leg. It doesn't mean that you hope someone goes up with a baseball bat, hits you in the kneecap before you go on. It's a way of trying to wish someone luck. And we're going to write down the literal meaning in just a moment. I'm just going to write down fall leg. Right. And then the literal meaning is the word-for-word definition. This often becomes the funny definition. When we try to define it, I say, hey, break a leg. Figurative means wish them luck. Literal is taking a baseball bat to your kneecap. Mr. Brovicast, causing someone pain is not hilarious. Yes, it is. It's so funny. Brianna.
These are your website.
The one you downloaded already.
Yeah, like on the
No,
notes.
that's why I have to write down now. This is why I'm teaching responsibility.
Or watch the video.
Or watch the video, which we're recording right now.
Yeah, probably. I can't see it.
You can scoot your chair back a little bit.
Oh.
I got your back.
Alright.
You just gotta make sure you scoot the chair back forward when you leave, because I scoot it for you, I get to charge you points. Because that's the whole responsibility. Then, we're getting ready to move to some examples where you get to use these notes and see if they help you out. So this is gonna be disappearing in just a moment.
Wait, just give me a second.
You can't control me.
I know.
Oh, I
I'm just
know.
asking.
What'd you do?
I accidentally erased some.
Why would you do that?
Because my eraser is too big and I
Is there an undo erase button?
there's an under. Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Or you're taking a picture of it, like paparazzi. You have Jacob's jacket, so I disappeared. Alright, make it disappear now.
No.
No, I'm.
Now hang on. For those of you freaking out, which definition do you think you need? It's not already in your head. Literal. What is the literal definition?
The common
the-
definition.
No.
No, the literal one.
The word.
For word definition.
And also the
funny
Funny.
there you go. Figurative is the
The common definition.
There
Where
you
we
go.
know the phrase.
that's the
to
main
mean.
thing you need to know. Figurative is the common, literal, word for word funny. As an example, what we're going to do now, and some of those are going to keep popping up to help you out. You are barking up the wrong tree. This is not one you're going to write down. Now is where we get to start practicing it, where the thing in front of you is going to make your life a lot easier. As an example, I'm going to go, Ethan, what are the two definitions that go, or the words we're going to put in the yellow boxes for every idiom? It has two definitions, and the two definitions are what? One starts with an F.
Figurative.
Good, and one starts with an L.
Literal.
Nicely done. So that's right, make it nice and easy. You went way too smart. You gotta dumb it down. It's still first period. So we have figurative and we have our literal. And then Lutcock, what is just the definition of figurative mean?
The common definition.
Nicely done. See, it's like the notes pay off, don't they? Mr. Brovicast, you're so helpful. The figurative is the common definition, the one we know the phrase to mean. If I were to say, you are barking up the wrong tree, do you know what that means? Owen?
Like you're looking in the wrong place.
Nicely done. That you are looking in the wrong place. You have made a mistake about this in some way. The only thing I'm going to hit, one of many things I'm going to hit with you guys, is that it's easy to globetrotter our idioms. And I don't want you to globetrotter our idioms. And the way you globetrotter our idioms is anytime you reuse words from the idiom into your definition. In a moment, you're going to give me the literal meaning, and you cannot use the words barking, wrong, or tree in your definition. Not Tom? What does literal mean? Just the definition of it.
Like it's word for word definition.
Nicely
and it's
done.
Funny.
The word for word funny definition. Now, here's where it gets tough and you have to use your imagination. Imagination. What would be the literal definition of you are barking up the wrong tree? Knowing you cannot use the words barking, wrong, or tree. Mr. Bluejack, I give up already. I'm so proud of you. Look at that. We have a room full of globetrotters. Oh, we throw shade at globetrotters all the time. It makes people stronger. Kate!
You're looking in
Kate,
a
you
bad spot.
not bad, but that will be the figurative, not the literal. But it's strong. I like the boldness and the wrongness of it. It's how you embrace these things. Kinley,
You're running up a tree.
you used the word tree and was not the literal one. Not Tom?
Making a dog sound
Good.
on the not right plant that is big and it looks like it has
Looks like a
leaves
stick.
on it and branches.
That was exhausting, but well done. I went for you're woofing up the incorrect tall bush. And so this is where you're going to use these things called synonyms, which is like cinnamon, which you put on your toes, which is delicious. But synonyms are the words that sound like other words. So you have to come up with a synonym for like barking and wrong and tree and stuff like that. Mr. Brovicast, that was a struggle. I could not agree more. Let's practice and try another one. This one we have. This test is a piece of cake. So once again, baby stepping into it. Go deep. What are our two definitions we're going to have?
Common definition.
Well, what is the common? Starts with an F.
Figurative.
And then the other definition is? Nicely done. So we have figurative and we have literal. Jasleen, what is the definition of figurative mean? Nicely done. See, we're going to this repetition. I'm going to beat it into slowly as we get there. And then Marn, do you know what it means if I say this test is a piece of cake?
It's easy.
Nailed it. The assessment is extremely easy, just like that. See, we're getting there, baby steps. Evelyn, what does literal mean?
The word for word fun definition.
Nailed it so far. Now here's where it gets tougher once again. Creativity. You cannot globetrotter it. So you can't
Oh, I
use
got
test
this.
or piece or cake. Easy.
This quiz is a slice of sweet pie.
Beautiful. Nicely done.
This
Twice.
graded assessment
Uh-huh.
is a warm, doughy, sweet thing.
Creepy, but works. Not Tom?
This exam is a slice of icing and other stuff that's unhealthy.
Right.
Well done. I went for this quiz as a tasty frosted dessert, but you guys went a bit more creepy, but that makes things fun. Alright,
Creative.
well done. Creative. I meant creative, not creepy. That's the wrong word. Totally. Let's take a look at another one. It's raining cats and dogs. So once again, baby steps as we get into it.
It's not a metaphor.
Manship, what are our two definitions? Sounds like you guys are getting into the pattern. Figurative and literal. Kalunga, what does figurative mean? Nicely done. Those notes come in handy. The common definition, the one that we know it to mean. If I say, hey, outside it is raining cats and dogs, Jackson, what does that mean? Close. It'd be the literal one. The figurative is the everyday common meaning. You ever heard someone say it's raining cats and dogs?
Isn't
If
it
you
a
had,
metaphor?
there's some things like if you've never heard it before, it won't do anything to you. If I was like, oh, you have ants in your pants, you're like, that's just weird. And so if you've never heard it, you can't give me the common
I
one.
can give it.
But if you have heard it, that helps. Does that help you at all, Jackson? No. Well, we tried. We threw that one out there and you smacked it away.
always me.
It's always worth a chance out there. Maya,
It's raining a lot.
works for me.
Hard.
Once again, I was trying to avoid raining because your globetrotter's showing. But large drops of water are falling from the sky. Nice. Because once again, can't globetrotter with the reusing of the rain thing. Our literal definition, jumping to that one. Michaela, what does literal mean?
The actual meaning.
Nicely done. The actual meaning, word for word, funny definition, stuff like that. Here's, once again, you cannot use raining, cat, or dog. Marn?
The wonderful clouds are dropping bits of water on our heads.
Good, but that would be the figurative, not the literal.
Oh, the H2O.
Good, that's still figurative, not literal.
Oh.
Literal means word for word, so we have to be talking about the fact that cats and dogs are falling. Cats and dogs are not made out of water. 70%
Little
of them
fluffy
are.
things are falling off.
There you go. Much, much better. Larissa?
Furry animals are falling from the sky.
Nicely done. So you
Little
guys are on
fluffy.
track now. Donahue?
It's pouring felines and canines.
Nah, I think that's where I went to.
I was gonna.
Felines, canines are dropping from the air. Well done. The toughest part about this is going to be not globetrottering it. Whenever you do your figurative and literal, not going up there and putting in the same words again. Or not knowing the definition. I think I have one more and we'll move on. Ooh. If you get to one where you've never heard it before, this is an idiom. He's a silver-tongued devil.
Ooh, I know.
Brovicast, you just made that up. Well, you can't, because an idiom has to be a phrase that other people know. You can't just make up an idiom. You've got twitches in your sneakers. Nope, you just made that up and you're weird. That's not an idiom. An idiom is a phrase that other people know also. Even if you've never heard of one, we can still work our way through it. So first off, baby step, as we're going to get a chance to go into it from there. Buckcuck, the two definitions are?
For figurative, there is what we know,
Well,
the common definition.
and then the L one is?
The word for word definition.
What does the L mean?
It's just figurative.
Rhymes with,
Literal.
rhymes with iteral.
Literal.
There, I said have you say the word, make it efficient. And you got that one. Alright, so back up. So even if you've never done it before, it was a literal first, he's a silver-tongued devil, how could you can always do the literal one. Even if you've never heard of this phrase, you can figure out the literal one, because what does it mean to you if I say he is a silver-tongued devil? Not Tom.
He is an evil person that has a tongue that
Can't use tongue.
that has a body part that is pink and it's in your mouth. That is silver.
Can't use
and
silver.
That is between gold and bronze and a race.
Stretching on way too
I'm looking forward to reading your homework when you're writing this out there with your paragraph of information. Everyone else has an 8 word, and you're like, I've got an essay. Well done. That was a definition. Alec.
He is a mineral mouth muscle or being.
Nicely done. Look at that. That was like
Yeah,
4,000 less words. Nicely done. I like how you got right to the middle of it. I went for, he is a demon with a mouth muscle that is very shiny. Or between bronze and gold on the Olympic stands. And then you said the figurative one, the common definition. Now, if you've never heard this
He's a
before,
liar.
this one gets tough. Calling someone a silver-tongued devil means that they're a sweet talker. It means to be a sweet talker.
I think so.
Trash talker.
It's like no.
No,
Teacher's
good
pet.
No,
guess.
it's like trying to
They
like
try to
talk
not
me
mean.
into something.
Yeah.
like a salesman.
There you go,
Trying to
like a
barter someone
salesman. Now, calling someone a sweet talker is another idiom. Because if you're saying you're a sweet talker, it's like every time you move your mouth, candy falls out. That would be a sweet talker. And there's a lot of times you're going to find yourself defining these using new idioms. He is a smooth talker and is very convincing. This one, we're going to take a look at. It changes things a little bit. The word paper jam. First off, baby steps as we get into it from there. Dakota, what are our 2 definitions?
Figurative and real.
Nicely done. What does figurative mean?
Figurative, the common definition.
Go you. Do you guys know what it means if a copier has a paper jam?
Yeah, and
Oh,
all
I
the papers
do.
get stuck together.
The papers get
There you
together.
go. The papers have got stuck together while trying to print. And then we have the literal definition.
Oh.
Dustin, what does literal mean?
Word to word.
Go for you. And then if what would be the literal one for paper jam? Knowing once again
got
you
this.
can't use the words paper, or I'm trying not to call them, because they just get really excited about learning.
But no, I just want.
To what, just talk out loud all
Yes.
the time? I feel the same way. Kinley!
I got this.
Maya!
The maker has a thin tree spread.
Not bad. That would work. Ethan?
What paper jam?
You're Ethan.
Yeah. These white sheets got stuck in the machine.
That'd be the figurative.
I don't know.
You know what jam is?
Yeah.
What's jam?
I
Like
know what paper jams
Oh.
are. Like those
like the
guitar
j-
things.
the sauce.
There you go. I
got
went a
this one.
completely different direction instead of jam. I did they're making music together. The sheets of wood pulp are getting together to make music. It's like a jam session.
I was gonna say preserve.
Do you remember
I
those
was
paper
gonna-
jam things?
I
Like
was
those
gonna
little
say
toys?
like.
And then sometimes they're actually going to make
I still have mine.
cartoons. On the outside of my door, I have a whole bunch of idiom cartoons because a lot of times cartoonists like to use idioms because they make people giggle. This would be a paper jam. So they're jamming out. Take a look at this one real quick. To hold your horses.
Oh.
We have the figurative, literal. What's it mean if someone says hold your
Wait,
horses?
wait,
Slow
wait,
down.
There you go. And then for our literal,
Um,
can't use horses or
See how good this came.
hold or Alec.
I use seahorses.
No, but a good try. It was very honest of you.
Oh.
Lakak,
Hang on to your equine.
nicely done.
Oh,
I went for large donkeys, but grab onto your large donkey creatures before they get away. And then again we have, I have a couple different cartoons that went along with that one. It says, well boys, maybe we need to rethink this. And see, he's right there. He's holding on to his horses. As they're getting ready to try and attack the Jumbo Twins.
Oh,
See, hold your horses.
yeah.
And then there's also another one of hold your horses.
That's amazing.
That's creepy.
Isn't it though?
If I can't, if I can't,
So now I have a couple ones where I'm going to see if you can figure out what idiom they were trying to do.
Get off my back.
Nicely done. The fact that your dad was on your back about getting to the trash and stuff like that. So that's a visual idiom.
cat got tongue.
No cat got your tongue is a good one, but now with this, there's no cat involved
His
here.
tongue's
Your tongue is.
What is it?
That's slip of tongue. Slip of tongue.
Slip of the tongue. Anytime that you make a mistake, it's called a slip of the tongue when you say something you're not supposed to.
Broken heart. Heartbroken.
There you go. Broken heart, heartbroken.
Paper cut.
Paper cut.
There you go.
Give me that.
See,
It's
again, well done on your idiom.
That's just an army knife.
Shoe, lovely shoe.
Shoe knot.
Surely
Karen.
Dancing shoes.
Nailed it. Dancing shoes.
Yes.
And so those are your dancing shoes.
Karen again.
Oh god.
What?
A bullet.
An alcoholic.
Smoking.
The trigger's the wrong direction.
It's a bullet.
I agree.
Bullet baby.
What's the bullet saying?
Daddy.
And this is a boy, so that makes it a.
Bullet boy.
Son.
Daddy.
Son bullet.
And this is a.
Son.
Son of a
Son of a gun.
Son of a gun. Son of a gun.
4.
Bit more thinking outside the box on that one, so that's why I tried to throw a tough one up there with a trigger that goes the wrong way. It's like a water gun.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing cowboy boots?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you're a gun
Smoking
farmer.
too.
Now, this is what you're going to end up doing for your
Oh, I
homework.
know this one.
So I'm going to show you a couple examples so you have an idea. Take a look at your white sheet that you picked up from me. What you're going to have to do is you are going to have to pick an idiom that we have not already done. So you cannot choose raining cats and dogs because we've already done that one. So you have to pick an idiom that's already out there. In the top left-hand corner, take your finger now, raise finger in air, put finger in top left-hand corner. You are now physically touching the directions.
No,
So
left hand.
now, when you don't follow them and you end up getting the 0, you understand why, because there are directions there. You have now physically touched it, so I get to make fun of you on Wednesday when you don't actually follow those directions. If you want to, you can now creepily pet the directions and go up and down a couple of times. It's so creepy. And you can pet the directions, and you can sort of bond with them and stuff like
So you
that.
look like Pennywise.
So now we're going to take a look, see what you're going to have to do. If you take a look at yours, you are going to have to figure out an idiom. Do we make up our own idiom? No, that is physically impossible. You cannot make up an idiom.
Well,
It has to be one that already exists.
someone eventually made
And
up
so
a
eventually
name.
someone did, but that's not you today. You are then going to write down the figurative definition of your idiom in a complete sentence. And then you're going to write down the literal definition of your idiom in a complete sentence. Then you're going to draw a picture of both of them. Draw a picture of the figurative, draw a picture of the literal. I have, don't let the cat out of the bag. What does the figurative definition of that mean?
It means like don't let the secret out or something like
Nicely
that.
done.
Tell the secret.
Don't tell the secret. Once again, do not globetrotter this, and make sure you don't reuse any of the words. So there's a picture of someone not telling the secret. And then the literal definition would be,
Don't
Let
the furry meow thing.
The fear
Don't let the cat
forget
not
you
let
take
the
to
cat.
lunch.
works for
Wait,
me.
Feline?
Don't let the feline escape from the sack.
Oh, they said
Something.
Zach just like
Same idea. So that's what we're looking for to be able to do. Braden.
Is one of your fingers just longer than the other? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Down.
I have so many issues.
That's really weird.
Finger length.
Well, I mean, they're probably on different
Still
positions of
leads to
his
my
head.
problems.
No, that's the
No,
confusing
that-
thing. They're
no,
the
no,
exact
I
same
think-
place.
How about, I'm in a
Wait,
pickle.
Mr. Brovicast, hold your fingers up like this.
That's
No,
fake.
no, like next to each other.
Ah, sorry, I got you like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a pickle. What does it mean if you say I'm in a pickle?
that could be like an illusion.
You're stuck in like
Oh, nice.
Figurative.
Hot box.
Nicely done. You're stuck in a
box.
problem.
No, that would take me.
So they put
Oh,
I'm
His
in
fingers
a
are just like.
pickle and the house is on fire. I'm not sure who
Oh.
painted their houses.
Yeah,
And then-
that's weird.
Your literal definition?
I'm trapped in a
I'm in-
giant vinegar-soaked cucumber.
Nailed it. I'm stuck in a salty soaked. Wow, that's almost word for word, kind of creepy. I'm stuck in a salty soaked cucumber. Once again, when you do your picture, you have to fill in the entire box. Fill in the entire box.
I
Has to
mean,
be
that
in
is what
color,
houses
stuff like
look
that.
like.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Their people look like kindergarten.
Knock them dead.
Oh, kill him.
What's
Oh,
Oh,
do
no,
that
no.
again. Knock him out.
No.
Knock
Well, I've heard the
Kinley? That does slow it down.
good luck.
Easy.
Good luck.
Nicely done.
Oh.
To do a really good job like that, I say go knock them dead.
I just do
And then the literal one,
knock him
Someone
out
fall
and make him
over and
dead.
you're dead.
Kill a man.
don't you globetrotter me.
Kill them. Oh, knock. Hit them.
Oh,
knock
someone
them, make them
passing
die.
away after they fall over.
There you go.
Dang.
To kill someone by punching them.
Oh.
Head in the clouds.
In
On my
alleyway.
website, if you don't know what you want to do for your idiom, I have a whole list of example idioms. If you Google it, you're going to be able to Google a whole bunch of example idioms from there. This is due when? You might want to write that on the paper, because if you ask me, I'm going to end up telling you tomorrow. It is due Wednesday. All the writing for this has to be done in what? Pen. Make sure all the pictures are in color. I wish you the best of luck. Congratulations, you're now all